All right, in this video, we're going to be taking a look at adding in some of the functionality into the skeleton that we put in the last video. Lee, why don't you give us a rundown of exactly what we're going to be doing?
All right, we're going to be adding the functionality for these three properties, the QueueCount, GetMaxThread, and GetAvailableThreads. There's not a whole lot to them, which is why we're going to do them all in a single video. I could have probably have done it earlier, but I wanted to break them off into their own section because I didn't want to start putting code in during the skeleton, because then it's no longer skeleton.
Right, it's skeleton and implementation.
Yeah. So I'm going to modify things a little bit, move things down onto their own lines because we're going to implement functionality into these properties. For our get, this will be return QUE.count, which is awesome because way back when we implemented the priority queue, and let me clear this off real quick, because you weren't around for the priority queue back, but when we implemented it way back in the day, we've already implemented the functionality for determining the count. We're just kind of passing through that functionality.
Sure.
Instead of having to do something like MyThreadPool.Queue.count. We're just implementing, oh, hold on. Hey, that will work. But instead of doing MyThreadPool.Queue.count, we're just making QueueCount right here, make it easier to get through. I'm getting rid of the private set on all of these because I'm just going to make them read-only. There's no point in setting them because they're returning their values. There's nothing that gets set ever.
Sure.
So it just keeps it a little bit cleaner. And drop these down. GetMaxThreads is going to be, and return thread count. And as you can see, we don't have a thread count because I didn't implement that yet. So we're going to create a field stub, private static integer thread count. So now we have a thread count here. And for available threads, we're going to take our thread count, and from it we're going to subtract our worker threads dot count.
Okay.
So if you remember from the last video, our worker threads is a list of all of our currently processing threads. So we can take that number, subtract it from our thread count, which will, any difference between these two would be threads that are available to be allocated. If this number for any reason is at 0, we have no available threads. Therefore, we cannot allocate any more work to be done.
Okay.
So these are just three properties that we can use to query the state of the system if we need. We'll also be using it to help facilitate or monitor thread inside of run. So, but that's just some of the very real quick base utility functions that we needed for that. Like I said, this was going to be a real quick video.
Right.
And in the next video, we're going to be looking at how to resize that wait handles array when we do the set max threads.
Okay. So that will wrap things up for this video. Thank you very much for watching.